Now let's talk about the basics of brand. Branding made simple. Now, what is not a brand? We're going to touch on that first. A brand is not just your logo, right? Everybody, when they first start their business, they got to create a logo. You want it to be perfect. I know. I mean, look at the Sawdust Startups logo right there. Everybody has a logo, and it is important, but it's not your brand. Your brand is also not the color scheme you picked out. We went with a black and white theme for Sawdust Startups. I kind of did that also with 731 and Faith Valley. I like that color scheme. But look at Coca-Cola. They're red and white. You got Chevrolet and Ford. They all have a color scheme. So you want to kind of keep that in mind, but it's not your brand. Also, your brand's not the catchphrase, right? Built Ford Tough. That's not your brand, not in and of itself, right? Now, these things matter, but they're not the brand or your brand. So think about that as you start wanting to create a brand for yourself and your business. Branding is a process. How do you eat an elephant? I love that phrase because nobody's eating an elephant, but the idea is you eat it one bite at a time. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's built over time. So kind of think about that. Kind of have a strategy, plan to build your brand. You're not just kind of throwing things against the wall. You want to start kind of mapping things out and figure out what you want your brand to be. Again, thought process. What's the image, the specific image of your company that the customer is going to have? So what is a brand? It's an image of your company in the minds of your customers. So when they think of you and your business, they think of XYZ. It basically elicits an emotional response from them when they think about your company. Think of Apple. What do you think about when you think about Apple products, the iPhone or a MacBook? You start thinking about great. You may. It just depends on how you think of them. And that's what's important. Things are different for different people. So when I think of Apple, I think good quality equipment, especially for video production. They also make a really good phone, nice design, etc. So you're thinking about that stuff. G-Shock watches. I love G-Shock watches. I used to have a bunch of them. But you think of tough watches. They're tough. They can handle basically anything. When you think about Ford and Chevrolet, depending on what side of the spectrum you are on those two, or Toyota or any brand of vehicle, you think one way or the other about them. Disney, whatever your opinion of them is, that's their brand in your mind. Home Depot, Lowe's, etc. So you have a thought or an emotional response. Whether you like it or not, you'll have an emotional response to these companies. So what you're wanting to do is set the expectations in the mind of your customer. That's what the brand is. All right, why is branding important? Well, it's not just about selling a product. You're literally selling a feeling or a lifestyle to that person. So if you think about Tesla, they're selling the sustainable future of electric cars. Whatever you think about that, but that's what they're trying to sell. I want to know, I'm curious to know this. Do you know what the Lowe's tagline is? Anybody? Probably not. You don't really think about Lowe's and having a tagline. Their actual tagline is Lowe's knows home improvement. It's okay. In my mind. Like, it's all right. That's not something I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. What's the Home Depot tagline? A lot of people will know this one. How doers get more done. And you've heard the song, da-da-dum-dum. You know it. You just sang it in your mind. They elicited an emotional response from you because of their branding. Their branding is they put the customer at the hero of the story, and that is very important. You should put the customer as the hero of the story you're selling them. So you're selling them a dining table. You are selling them a table, but you're actually selling that feeling or that emotional response that they know that they're going to gather their family around that table and have meals and make memories for years and years and years to come. That's what you're selling. You're selling a product, but you're selling that feeling. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. And be very mindful that every single time you have an interaction with a customer, whether that's face-to-face or over the internet or over some type of messaging service, you're literally having an impact on what they think about your brand every single time, not just once. It's not just the first sale. It's not just the first contact. It's every time you interact with that person or persons, you are literally building your brand in their mind. So what's your brand? There's 5 key points to building a brand, in my opinion. What do you stand for? What's your values? So I'm pretty open that I am a Christian and that I believe that way, and that is part of my values, and we'll get a little more into that and how that plays into companies later. You are a person. who you are as a person and a company goes into your brand. So your quirks and your individuality and who you are will play a part in that. And it's okay to be who you are. If you're a little shy, be a little shy, be okay with that. That's part of it. We are who we are. We're made to be the way we're made to be, on purpose, for a purpose. All right, your customer associates your story with your products, which creates your brand. It's who you are and how you make your customers feel. That is so important. How do you make them feel when they get your product? That's going to play massively into your brand. Now, your brand isn't what you say it is, it's what your customers think it is. That's what brand is. Focus on positive interactions with customers again, and branding is not marketing. There is a difference there. So what is it? Marketing, you're promoting your products to sell. In other words, you run an ad or you post an ad or anything like that. That is marketing. Branding is the perception of the company, but they're not necessarily separate. Marketing is transactional. Branding is relational. Marketing and branding go hand in hand. They really do. All right, so leveraging branding and marketing, why it works. Marketing your products will fail without a brand, an emotional response to drive the sale. So think about you're reaching the right audience with the right marketing. You create an emotional response. It's going to result in more sales. This is why properly staged product photos and videos work. Think of the Home Depot commercials, right? You got people in the store, they're smiling for the paint, or they're shopping for the paint, they're smiling, they're having a good time. And then in the end of the commercial, they're showing those people, like with the finished product, that feeling of accomplishment. And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, you didn't know that you could remodel the bathroom by yourself. And then you saw this whole Home Depot commercial and you're motivated. Like, I can do that. I can do all the plumbing. I'm good, So that's what they're doing. They're selling that feeling, or that basically the vision that you can do that. And that's a whole lot of what it goes into branding and marketing hand in hand. Yeah, they just sold a feeling of accomplishment and what to do. So how do woodworkers brand themselves? Who you are and who you and your company are, right? What do you want to be known for? It's kind of how things, if you think about all the big brands out there, it doesn't matter who it is, they're trying to sell you on a vision of who they are and what they can help you accomplish. And if you really think about it, what you can help them accomplish and do is putting the customer as the hero. And that's just a basic principle of storytelling. You're basically creating a story for the customer, and they're the hero of the story. That is huge. You'll wind up selling a whole lot more products if you can do that. So what feelings are you selling the customer? Again, that's what I just said. How can you incorporate your values into your products? And I'll talk about that a little bit more in just a minute. And then how do you make the customer feel? Again, you're driving that sale. All right, so this is my new website. This is faithvalleytools.com. So we created a tool brand. We're starting to come out with some new tools. And so how do we incorporate who we are into this business while also selling a feeling and basically have a mission-driven purpose? That's the whole purpose of this. So Faith Valley Tools is about sharing the gospel or having Christian-based tools, because there's none out there that I could find. So we wanted to create a company that has our values and on this tool brand. So that's how we come up with this idea. Now, first of all, we've got several products we're launching with, and you can see there's literally scripture on the tools, or there's going to be 10% of the profits are given to the missions. And so we're going to try to leverage the fact that people who want to support other Christians can, and there are also woodworkers who want tools, can do so here with us. And so it's also going to spread our message or our values. It's going to support those. So we've tried to brand this whole thing before. This is not even launched yet. Y'all seen this way before. This will all change too, because some of these things I want to change. But we're literally putting it all up front. This is who we are. This is what we believe in. This is our brand. We're also selling. These tools work, and you can create products with these tools or better your products with these tools, because that's part of it. The customer here is going to be the hero, because when they buy a product, they know a 10% of the profits of that product are going to support missionaries who are trying to help people and spread the gospel. So that's the whole purpose of this. We're mission driven here. And I think that's part of branding is, if you can figure out who you are, what you believe in, what is your why, and how you can incorporate that into your company. That'll be mission driven. Again, so you just check it out. There's the logo right there, the Faith Valley Tools logo. It's literally mountains. So you got the valley, the V is in the valley. Then also the cross is there as the T, and having faith in the valleys is the idea behind the company. And so this is part of it. It's a process that takes a little time to get everything kind of moving in the right way. So when we start marketing this, we'll also lean heavily into that. So that's part of building a brand and a perception of your company over time. Now let's talk about the brand of 731 Woodworks. Okay, again, the black and white theme. I like the black and white theme, but you can use colors, whatever you want. But basically, we've got the logo here. If you know my videos, it's the logos everywhere. I use my logo, and my marketing strategy for 731 is to put the woodworker as the hero. Well, how do you do that? Well, if they buy these project plans, what do they get to make? They get to make projects. They get to make woodworking products with their own hands, and I'm just the guide, right? I'm just the guide that helps them get there. And so that's what we're selling here with our products. It's literally having them be the hero of the story, and then I'm just the guide. I'm just the one showing them the way. If they've never built end tables and coffee tables and anything like shop projects, outdoor furniture, if they've never done any of this stuff, they can come here, get the project plans from me, and let me guide them through the process, and it creates a hero mindset for them. And it really does. I've used the same products from other people where before I started making my own stuff, I would buy products or buy plans from other people and then build the product or the project. And then I felt like the hero because I was able to take their guide and make a product that otherwise I would have not been able to make. Literally, look at this. This is though I showed you this in the earlier module. This is my very first woodworking project that I created using Jay Bates' guide to make this. I felt like $1 million when I made that. I was so proud of that. Why? Because I made it with my hands, with Jay's guide. And from this day to this day, I kind of hold Jay on another level of a woodworker. I'm like, this guy helped me start a business. This guy helped me show me the way to be able to produce products on my own and then create this business that you see today. It's been absolutely amazing. And I think Jay's a great guy. Never met him before in my life. And I just think that using his guide to get me to where I am is part of the process. We're all going to do that. So that's part of the branding of yourself. You're eliciting an emotional response from people. It's not trickery. It's not deceiving. You're not doing anything false. You're pouring your values and everything into your company. And by doing that, you're going to elicit an emotional response out of people. And whether that's good or bad, you want that to be good and positive. And that's what we try to do. I'm not trying to trick people into buying stuff. I'm not any of that stuff. We're not doing that. We're just guiding them to where they want to be. Whether that be you're providing a coffee table that they're going to sit around and put their drinks and food on and have a good time with their family, or an end table or nightstands or whatever it may be. You're helping them get to where the vision that they want to see in their home. You're helping them with that. Cutting boards, they're cutting food for their family. They're preparing meals. So when you start thinking about doing your product photos and even videos, I highly recommend videos if you're selling product. Literally film your family around the table that you built. Or if you don't have family, get some people in there to help you out, friends and stuff, cutting food up, and then also show the cutting board in action, but also zoom out and show the family talking and preparing a meal together. That's showing them what's going to happen with your product or the vision that you want to portray with your product. Like you want to portray that as a positive thing that people will use your product, and you start kind of setting that tone in their mind. That's really what branding is about. If you look, what I want you to do is whenever you're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or watching TV, when you see an ad, especially from major companies or even minor companies, and you have an emotional response to it, you're like, oh, that is so awesome, or I can't stand that, or whatever the response is, I want you to start taking notes on this stuff. Literally write it down. Why did this trigger me into wanting that product? You see the latest phone or the latest Milwaukee tool or DeWalt tool or the latest and greatest table saw, whatever it is, What about that product or that ad made you want that product or not want that product? Literally start taking notes and you'll start understanding how branding and marketing work together hand in hand. And that's going to really influence how you can really spin your company and put it on the road to success when you start branding yourself and putting the customer as a hero and you're just basically guiding them that way. It's a major mindset shift whenever you do that. Just start paying attention to what you see, like be mindful of it as you're scrolling and see what people are serving you and see how that really affects your buying decisions. And you'll see what we're talking about here.